Good evening, everybody. Welcome to round 6 of the Formula Student Sim Racing series. This weekend we've moved from the swooping Tuscan countryside of Mugello over the border to Germany, to Sachsenring. And in Germany, what else could it be but Porsche 911 RSRs? This is round 6 of the 8-round series. This is the penultimate round of online only for round 8. We're in the final stages of making arrangements for the event at Silverstone, and we'll be making a formal announcement soon of our plans. But back to this evening. Let's start off and show you the qualifying positions from yesterday evening. So in pole position, with a lap time of 1:17.5. Yet another pole for Southampton University. In second, with a 1:17.9, is University of Bolton. In third place, I was correct, University of Bolton. In third place, we have Cambridge. Fourth place, University of West of England. And in fifth place, Salford. We have had a couple of last-minute changes on the grid, so both Sheffield and Heriot Watt will be starting from the back, and that's because they are running a single driver entry for both races this evening, and they were late notifications. So as per our sporting regulations, that means they have to start from the back of the grid. Let's look at the allocations of tyres and ballast for this evening. So the car within Assetto Corsa has a range of tyres from ultra soft to ultra hard, but in the FS Sim Race series we only allow allocation of softs, mediums and hard tyres. And the teams have a limited allocation of the softs and the mediums. They have to nominate which rounds they choose the faster performing tyres. So for round 6 on the soft tyres, we have University of Bolton, University of Stavanger, and University of Wales Trinity St David. On the medium tyres, we have TU Ilmenau, University of Hull, Portsmouth EV, Liverpool John Moores, University of Liverpool, although I'm not sure they are in. So the list I've been sent, I was expecting them to be on the hard tyres. Heriot Watt on the mediums, Portsmouth IC on the hards, Belfast on the mediums, University of the West England on the hards, Cambridge on mediums, Sheffield on hards, NUST on the mediums, Southampton on the hards, Dundee on the hards, Salford on the hards, and Trinity College Dublin also on the hard tyres. So Sachsenring circuit, it's an anti-clockwise track. It has very few right-handers, and so the key for this evening, whichever tyre compound they're using, is going to be the setup work the teams have done ahead of the event to ensure they keep their right-hand tyres alive for as long as possible. We've got 4 minutes on the clock as a countdown. I'll just turn on the audio from the stream, try not to repeat the error from previous rounds, and we'll get up the championship standings. It's very close at the top. Our current championship leader is Salford with 318 points. In second, we've got Southampton on 307. In third place, Cambridge on 305. So it's drop scores. It's best 5 from the best 5 scores from the 8 rounds in the series, and so it's still all to play for at the sharp end of the championship, and a few of those are poorer scores. So looking at Salford with only 9 points from race 2 in round 1 and 6 points from race 2 in round 3. and Cambridge with only 8 points from race 2 in round 3. So there's opportunities to have better results over the combination of race 1 and race 2, and bump up their positions in the championship. Round 7, we'll be moving from Germany to Brazil to the Interlagos circuit, and the car for round 7 is the Tartus Formula 4. And for round 8, it's running the same weekend as the actual live Formula Student event, expecting that we will be running on the Friday rather than at the weekend of all of these online races. And the cars for Silverstone will be GT3s for the finals. We're expecting there's going to be a format change to suit our arrangements with hardware and software for that round. As I mentioned earlier on, formal announcement to be made soon, but we're really excited about what we've managed to pull together for the final round at Silverstone. So 1 minute 30 countdown on the clock. I think now I can use the tower on the left and have the correct tyre allocation. So scanning down, we can see soft tyres with Bolton, Stavanger and Trinity St David. On the mediums we have Heriot Watt, Lesond, Sheffield Hallam, TU Ilmenau, Portsmouth EV, Hull, NUST and Cambridge, and then the remainder of the field are running the hard tyres. We had a reminder in the driver's briefing just before the race started. Turn 1 at Sachsenring is very, very tight. Hoping we're not going to have the classic sim racing at Monza pile up into turn 1, and the drivers keep it clean. And we are about to find out very shortly. Less than 20 seconds to the race start. I will not be attempting a Murray Walker impression, the same as James managed in the last round. Red lights up, lights out, race start. Clean start from the front of the grid, but we did appear to have a bit of a ping issue with some cars behind. Majority of the field are safely away though. A bit of an incident at the back of the grid, but majority of the field are through. Southampton maintaining their position from pole. Bolton in second, University of the West of England in third. It appears that we've lost Cambridge though. No, they are down to seventh. So as we go around this first lap, they're starting the run up the hill on the endless left-handers, and we're about to now drop back downhill, down the waterfall. Let's ride on board with second place. So Talbot from the University of Bolton. You can see Southampton ahead using all of the track. And they've managed to stretch out a lead of nearly a second already on the first lap. I have a feeling that Southampton may run away with this one if this continues. Behind, on board with Sargent from the University of the West of England. About 8/10 to the car ahead. And these front three, they've already pulled a reasonable gap to the pack behind. We'll keep an eye on the times on these three cars in front, but it looks to be closer racing. Certainly for 4th and 5th. Well, 5th having a bit of a wild moment there. So we've got quite a lot of field spread already. Running down our order, so Southampton in the lead in 1st, Bolton 2nd, University of West of England 3rd. We're following University of Lyon here in 4th place at the moment. Let's run back down through the field. Portsmouth EV in 5th. Sheffield in 6th. Let's stay with this. Looks like maybe an attempted pass into the first corner. It is clean pass up the inside at Sheffield through into 5th place. Let's see if Portsmouth can maintain the gap or whether Sheffield are going to pull away. No, it looks like Sheffield do have the pace over Portsmouth, so let's go back to outside, run down the field a little more. So in 7th place, Harriet Watt. Eighth place, Hull. This looks like this is where the action is. 3-car train. Ilmenau in 9th and Stavanger in 10th. All thought about it into the last corner. That's given Stavanger a run. Run down into the first corner. I think we'll see a similar pass to the previous lap. No, earlier on the break, so no, didn't make the pass into the first corner. We'll keep following these guys for the moment. Looks like Sheffield have closed up on University of Lyon, so forward to them, and yeah, it's indeed right on the tail of the car ahead. Running down the hill into the fast left-hander. And Portsmouth EV have closed back up, so it looks like Lyon are just slightly slower than these cars behind. Lyon defending on the inside. Sheffield moved to the outside. Oh, light contact. It's got the line for the next corner, but we're going right on the round the Omega bend. Lyon maintaining that, and Portsmouth EV opportunistic pass back. I think all this battling, this letting the Harriet Watt behind close up. It's back on board with Portsmouth. So although Lyon don't appear to have the pace of the cars ahead, they are doing a great job of defending from all comers behind. That's Sheffield back through. Coming towards the end of this 6th lap. At the front, Southampton are streaking away with it, over 3-second lead. Bolton still in second. West of England still in third. We'll stay with this action for 4th, 5th and 6th. It looks like we're about to be joined by Harriet Watt behind in 7th. Sheffield up the inside, and that's Leon to the back of this 4-car train. So Sheffield up to 4th, Portsmouth to 5th and Harriet Watt into 6th. I have a funny feeling it's not going to stay that way for very long though. Bit of contact behind again between Harriet Watt and Portsmouth. Oh, look at what we've got behind here. So let's scan back through the field. So Ilmenau in 7th. Hull in 8th. Looking like they're about to attempt to pass around the outside into the first corner. Leon down to 9th after that incident. Then we have NUST in 10th and Stavanger close behind in 11th. Let's go on board with one of the cars towards the rear of this group. On board with NUST. Looks like it's just one line through this early part of our contact. That was opportunistic, as I was saying, really one line through that section. That's allowed Stavanger through into 10th. One of our few soft tyre runners. Don't appear to be having problems with the tyres as of yet. Not able to hang it around the outside though and complete the pass. And then UST have closed back up quite quickly. So we have Leon in 9th, Ilmenau in 8th. Hull in 7th, Harriet Watt in 6th, Portsmouth EV in 5th, Sheffield in 4th, and then we have a 12-second gap to University of West of England, who are just under a second behind Bolton, holding second. And Southampton now stretch their lead at the front to nearly 6 seconds. It looks like we have a potential battle developing here, so we'll follow these guys for the next few corners at least. Mistake from Bolton ahead. They're on soft tyres, so I'm wondering if they are starting to struggle with tyre temperature and available grip. I think that must be a back marker we can just see ahead rather than Southampton. Sargent closing up through this section, down the hill, just not quite close enough to attempt to pass. lining up nicely for an attempt into the first corner at the end of the main start-finish straight though. In the slipstream, Bolton defend to the right. He's going to have to go the long way round, brave on the brakes. Bolton late enough on the brakes, just no opportunity there for West of England. So whilst this stays close, we'll keep following for a little longer. Our battle for the final 2 podium positions, barring any disasters like running out of fuel again. As I say, it looks like Southampton have got this one well and truly sewn up. Commentators curse or not. It looks like this gap ebbs and flows around different parts of the lap, so different lines or just differently on the driving side. Small mistake from Bolton. I think this is potentially allowing opportunity here for University of West of England, but again they've got to go the long way around the outside. Bolton defending well, giving them no opportunity. So not even halfway in this 20-minute race yet. Nearly 10-second lead for Southampton out ahead. Close for second and third here. And then a 10-second gap back to Sheffield in fourth. It does look like we have a reasonable battle around 6th down to 10th. So we'll just stay on for a few more corners. If it looks like it's going to stay as it has been for the last few laps, we'll go and pick up that battle further down the field. Closer than in previous laps, coming towards the end of the lap. Lining up for attempt number 3. Down the start-finish straight and into the first corner. Bolton getting a better run out the last corner this time. Not feeling like they have to defend. Are they potentially leaving the door open this time for a late lunge? No, defending at the last minute, and they're suitably late on the brakes. There's not even a sniff for West of England. I think they're going to have to wait for a mistake. So let's run back through the rest of the field. Sheffield, a little bit in no man's land on their own there in fourth. Similar for Portsmouth EV in fifth. Ilmenau in sixth. Hull in seventh with a bit of a Larry oversteer moment into Omega corner. Stavanger behind. And we have Leon closely followed by Heriot Watt. University of the Basque Country, NUST and Salford. So they're all close enough. We should get a bit of prime viewing from the roof cam riding on board. Oh no, this is... I thought this was Salford, but this is Southampton. No, I was correct. It was Salford. It was an error on the timing box below. But Salford are a lap down. Looks like they've potentially had an issue and are coming back through the field. So let's go on board with NUST in 12th place. It's a close battle between all these 4 cars. Not sure what's happened to Salford for them to be a lap down, but it looks like they have the pace to be running further up the field without their issues. Basque Country seems to be closing up on Leon, but Leon continuing their form from earlier, defending well, or leave a sniff up the inside, and that's Basque Country through. Great pass. Stavanger have had an off ahead, so that's a free place for this train of 4 cars. Let's see if Basque Country have the pace to pull away from this group. Just checking our battle for second and third. Still appears to be the same 3 or 4 tenths, but Bolton holding second from West of England, so we'll stay with this group of cars. Basque Country are stretching away slightly, so let's scan back slightly. NUST defending from Harriet Watt behind, whilst also trying to close up on Leon in front. Oh, looks like we've got some interesting server connection issues for NUST on the ping, and West of England have made it through, so we shall go back to pick up that battle. Shame we didn't get to see the pass, but now they're through, already stretching by 8 tenths. So West of England on the hard tyres, Bolton on the softs. Potentially that those soft tyres have cried enough. So nowhere near enough time left for them to do anything about Southampton's lead. Well, it's looking to be holding steady around 16.3 seconds, so on a similar pace. But yeah, Bolton behind, shedding time now to West of England in second. So if we go back with the West of England, see what lap time comes up for this, see if it's allow them to unleash some latent pace, or whether it's more a case of Bolton losing pace with tyre issues. So it's 1:20.6, it's reasonably competitive time, and they have reduced the lead to Southampton by 1.5 seconds. Maybe that Southampton are going through traffic, so we have Lassonde ahead, Trinity St David in 15th, Portsmouth IC in 14th, and there's our leader Southampton. Next car they're coming up to lap is Dundee in 13th place. Teammates by livery to Stavanger running in 12th. Sheffield Hallam in 11th. Basque Country in 10th. Sporting a bit of damage from we did catch contact between some of the cars. Harriet Watt in 9th. Leon in 8th. Hull in 7th, and it looks like we've got a close battle here between Ilmenau and Portsmouth EV, so we'll follow these guys for a few corners at least. Almost contact into that final corner, but not getting the power down as well as Portsmouth ahead. Breaking into this tricky first right-hander. Flick left. Downhill again before right around Omega corner. Oh, a little too quick into that corner. Thought they were going to catch up, but a bit too deep into the corner. Later on the brakes into the penultimate corner, but not sure if that's a bit of over-eagerness on the driver or also on the mediums. They're struggling with tyres, tyre wear, tyre temps towards the end of this race. So it looks like this gap's spreading out, but Bolton are falling back into the clutches of Sheffield. So remembering Sheffield started second to last on the grid. So really unfortunate for Bolton there. So spinner from a back marker blocking their path, but I think that just brought forward the inevitable a bit sooner. I think, as suspected earlier on, that Bolton are just suffering for a tyre grip, and so that has allowed Sheffield through into the final podium position, having started in 19th position. A reminder, we have University of the West of England in second place. Gap to Southampton had come down to 15 seconds, but extended back out now, possibly with having to get through that lap traffic. So with 30 seconds left on the race clock, let's ride on board with our leader for what may be the final lap. Yeah, I think the race clock's going to tick down to 0 way before we get to the end of the lap, so this will be the final lap for our leader. Through the penultimate corner, out wide as he has done all race, using absolutely all of the circuit, into the final bend and across the line for a lights to flag victory. Congratulations to University of Southampton for the win at round 1. That's Dundee coming through as a lapped car in 13th. University of the West of England in 2nd. And Sheffield maintaining that 3rd position from the running through the back of the grid. Portsmouth IFC in 14th. Bolton holding on the tyres to the end for 4th. Portsmouth EV in 5th. Ilmenauer in 6th. Hull crossing the line there in 7th. Leon in 8th. Passed just at the last corner, so University of Basque Country making it through for 9th. Heriot Watt there in 10th. Sheffield Hallam with Stavanger close behind. Sheffield Hallam making 11th, Stavanger in 12th. And we've had the rest of the lapped runners finish already. So that concludes race 1 of round 6 of the sim racing series. An easy win there for Southampton. Dominant victory, nearly 20 seconds by the end of the race. But some good battles through the field. I think driver of the race has to go probably to Sheffield for making it through all the way from 19th to the podium position in third. But congratulations to everyone on your finishing positions. We'll go now, crunch the numbers. Celebratory donuts from our winner. We'll go crunch the numbers for the reverse grid and any penalties to apply for race 2. So we'll pause the stream there and we'll be back in approximately 20 to 25 minutes. Speak to you all shortly. And welcome back everyone. With just over 8 minutes to go, we are forming the grid for race 2 of round 6 of the Formula Student Sim Race series. Reminder, this evening's races are Porsche 911 RSR 2017 at Sachsenring, or Circuit of Saxony, in Germany. We don't quite have a full grid of drivers yet. Once we have the full 20 cars on the grid, I'll have a run through of the positions. It's a reverse top 10 for race 2, but with penalties applied. So the single driver entry teams either have a 5-place penalty if they advise us insufficient time, or, as is the case with several of the cars, with late notification of being a single race entry, then they are starting at the back of the grid, and we order them in chronological order of when the notifications are received. So on pole position this evening for race 2, University of Leon. Second place, Hull. Third place, TU Ilmenau. Fourth place, Portsmouth EV. Bolton in 6th, first of our soft tyre runners for this evening. University of the Basque Country in 7th. Basque Country in 8th. University of the West of England in 9th. Southampton in 10th. 8th. Let me get this right. They're having the TV car on pole position until we pull away does not help. Behind Southampton we have Portsmouth IC, then Lesond, NUST, Stavanger, Dundee, Cambridge, Trinity St David, Salford, Sheffield and Heriot-Watt. So Southampton winning race 1, University of West of England in 2nd place, Sheffield with a drive from the back of the grid through to a podium position, but they had a late notification and are a single driver entry, so they're towards the back of the grid again, saved only from being on dead last by Heriot-Watt. Also being single driver entry for this round. Unfortunately their second driver is not very well, so Lorenzo's having to adopt the driving for race 2 as well. We've got 5 minutes on the clock running down to the start of the race. You might wonder why we now have a full grid, so that's Sheffield Hallam, I believe, who have just taken up their grid position in 9th place. So the reason we have this 10-minute assembly of the grid, so for some people with some of our competitors with slightly lower spec PCs, it takes a while for when they load the game for each instance of the server running for them to cache all the circuit and car detail, and so we ran with a 5-minute assembly for the first 3 rounds. We've extended it to 10 minutes in recent rounds to allow more time for their PCs to load all the required game data in the background. Now historically in the previous rounds, race 2 has been not as clean as race 1. We had a reasonably clean start to race 1. Hopefully we get the same at the start of race 2. But we'll find out shortly whether we're going to have carnage at the first corner or not. As we expected, we saw in race 1 Bolton a little unfortunate with a back marker, but they were clearly struggling with their tyres towards the end of the round on the softs, so not able to change the setup to be able to stretch the tyres out to last full performance for the whole 20 minutes. So no no changes in the setup for this next race, so I suspect it will be similar again. But in race 2 we have different drivers for the majority of the teams, and so different relative performance between them. And of course we have the reverse top 10 from race 1, so we naturally have teams that may have faster cars on the setups they've developed, or they were certainly faster with their first drivers, but we'll have to see whether that pace advantage carries through into race 2 with their driver B. Whilst we're waiting for the clock to tick down for the race start, let's just flash up the tyres and ballast. So the tyre position you can see on the tower on the left hand side, but the joker for the ballast, so teams that are running their joker to run 10% lighter than the normal car weight for this round are University of the Basque Country, TU Ilmenau, University of Hull and NUST. Unfortunately, I can't do the mental maths to work out where we are on championship positions after that race 1 of round 6. But on the championship positions before the round, so Southampton were in second on 307 points. Salford were our leaders, and I think Salford, I do remember, had issues in the race before, so looks like Southampton are going to be up into first position, and Cambridge also didn't finish race 1, so didn't really have that opportunity to make up for some of their lower scores in earlier rounds. We are into drop score territory now. The standings we'll continue to share will be that of every single round, but the teams will have to now factor in the drop scores into the overall positions. 30 seconds to go on the clock, so we'll move the championship standings from the screen. $20 seconds. Red lights are lighting up. And race start. Appeared to be a cleaner start so far than race 1. Everyone getting away from their grid position. But our pole sitter has dropped back considerably. They're already down to, well down into the bulk of the field. Southampton in 6th. Basque Country in 5th, Ilmenau in 4th, Portsmouth EV in 3rd, Bolton in 2nd, and Hull making it through to lead in 1st place. Nice to stretch out to a 2nd at the front already, so we'll pick up some of the closer positions of the cars behind. On board with Portsmouth EV in 3rd. Ilmenau in 4th. So in race 1 we had a lot of field spread already after the first lap or two. It looks to be more evenly balanced between the drivers and cars in race 2 so far. So we'll stay following this group. Running down into the long Omega right-hander before they start the climb back uphill. Switch to on board with Basque Country. Closing up nicely to the car ahead. Far enough to be alongside, but not quite on the brakes into the penultimate corner. Still alongside though for a run into the last corner, and executes the pass, and it looks like that's also let West of England through as well. Almost 3 wide on the run down into the first corner. Ilmenau almost back through, but no. Contact. Unfortunately off into the gravel for Ilmenau. So that's University of West of England in 5th. Southampton in 6th. Stavanger in 7th, Sheffield in 8th, and doing a great job of coming through from almost the back of the grid. You know, comparison, Heriot Watt started 20th, currently running 19th. So again, Sheffield have done a good job of making it through from the back of the field, so let's ride on board with them for a little while, see if they're going to carve through the cars ahead. Out in front, Hull maintaining their lead from the early stages of the race, now out to almost 2 seconds. Bolton still second, Portsmouth 3rd, and Basque Country in 4th. University of West of England in 5th, Southampton in 6th, Stavanger in 7th, and we're on board with Sheffield in 8th. It's then a relatively large gap, another 8 seconds down to Portsmouth IC behind. Does look to be close between the rest of those cars, so let's scan back and pick those cars up. With Salford hoping to make up for their disappointment from the previous race, running through in 10th position. Lesond in 11th, Ilmenau after their trip into the gravel in 12th. And very wide through that fast left-hander. Hull with the fastest lap, 1:19.9, extending their lead out in front. Trinity St David in 13th, with Dundee close behind, but just having a run through the gravel. Looks like the Sond have just had an issue at the final corner. Dundee in 14th, Cambridge in 15th, with Sheffield Hallam. Look like they're going to be attempting a pass into the first corner, up the inside, and that's through on Cambridge into 15th place. See if they've catch up to the car in front. It looks close again between Portsmouth IC and Trinity St David, showing a wheel up the inside but not able to hold it through the remainder of the corner. Looks relatively stable between those. So I've Dundee 13th, Sheffield Hallam 14th. Sheffield having stretched away from Cambridge behind, having made the pass at the start of the lap. We've got the potential for a nice 4-car battle brewing here, so we'll stay on board with Sheffield Hallam for the moment. Later on the brakes, pulling back for the apex. Looks like they'll be attempting a pass on Dundee relatively soon. We've got some close action closer towards the front of the field, so let's go and pick that up. Portsmouth with just over a second to group of cars behind. So Stavanger battling with Sheffield, who continue their run through from the back of the field. Not quite so dominant, but Hull with a similar performance to Southampton in race 1, stretching away. So after 6 laps, they're nearly a 3-second lead to Bolton in second. So Stavanger not really making an impression on Portsmouth EV ahead, but managing to maintain the gap to Sheffield behind at the same time. So let's scan back and pick up Dundee. Looks like similarly close train of group of 4 cars. So Ilmenau have just made it past Southampton into 9th. Salford about 7 seconds up the road, so they've got a fair gap to make up if they're going to be moving up to 8th or higher over the remainder of the race. Let's go and pick up University of the Basque Country. So looks like they're closing down Bolton in second. They're on the hard tyres, Bolton ahead on the softs. So it's early yet for the soft tyres to be suffering on Bolton's car. But reminder that Basque Country are running with their Joker ballast, so 10% lighter for this race. So around a twisty track like we have here at the Sachsenring, that's going to pay them free lap time round all the corners. Bolton running slightly wide on through Omega. So gap between the cars about half a second. Looks like we're closed up through that corner. Fast left. Again left, now flicking right down the waterfall, down the hill towards the penultimate corner. Moves to the outside. Going to be a difficult pass to execute from there. And yeah, not quite happening, but lining up nicely for an attempt into the final corner. And that's Basque Country through into second position. Stay with them for a little while and see whether they've got the pace to stretch out from Bolton in front, or whether Bolton are going to be able to attempt to retake that position. Staying close so far. But now, yeah, over the remainder of this lap, already stretching out to almost a second. So let's have a quick look at the tower. So looks like Sheffield are closing up on Portsmouth EV. So we've got a battle developing for fourth. If Sheffield do make it through, unless there's problems ahead, I suspect that fourth will be as far as they get. So it's a fair gap to be nearly 0.8 of a second a lap quicker than the cars ahead to close the gaps up. But first of all, they've got to get past Portsmouth in fourth, which is not a done deal yet. But late lunge into the last corner, but a clean pass, no contact, and that is Sheffield through into fourth. But Portsmouth getting a better exit out of the final corner, so may attempt a repass around the outside. Sheffield defending on the inside and holding position. Let's go and pick up somewhere towards the back of the field. So, as I saw on the tower, argy-bargy between our gaggle of cars here. That's allowed NUST through into 14th. Contact between Cambridge and Heriot Watt behind there, so they've both ended up in the kitty litter. That allows Lassonde through into 15th. I think Lassonde don't have the best internet connection, which we've consistently seen this evening. Their car position not reporting perfectly to the server, so will Cambridge after that contact in 16th, Portsmouth IC in 17th, Heriot Watt in 18th, and then I'm not sure what happened to our pole sitters, Leon, so they're a lap down in 19th place. Barely seen them so far this evening, but let's follow Hull for a little while. Out in front with a lead of nearly 5 seconds at just over the halfway mark in the race. Gap to Basque Country behind. Now down to 4.5 seconds. We'll keep an eye on that and see whether that's going to develop into a battle towards the end of the race. Ilmenau just made it through on Stavanger. Salford just passing Portsmouth EV to move up into 5th place. Stavanger doing a 125 there on that lap, so it looks like that was either a mistake or they were encouraged into making a mistake from pressure behind. See if they can make amends for that and close the gap back up to Ilmenau. Looks to be the case so far on this lap. So Stavanger on the soft tyres, and yeah, after more than halfway through the race with that oversteer moment through the fast corner there, I think they may be struggling for rear tyre grip. Harriet Watt have just made it through on Cambridge, so let's pick this battle up. Cambridge still looking to maintain the position. Yeah, Stavanger clearly suffering, so 127 now on that lap, and Southampton have made it through into 9th. Well, it looks like Harriet Watt have the legs on Cambridge. At the front, what was 5 seconds is closing down to 3.7, so let's ride on board with Basque Country for a little while, see if this gap continues to close. With 6 minutes to go, that's 4 laps probably remaining, so we may be on for a last lap ding dong. Or at the same time, I can see there's back markers ahead, so it may be that Hull has just been delayed with the passes on those back markers. But that is gap down to 3 seconds now. Two and a half seconds already, so we may be on for that battle for our first and second positions in race 2. Yeah, it looks like Hull are just struggling to make it through the back markers, and they're shedding lap time as a result. It really has allowed Basque Country to close up. It was 3.5 seconds at the start of this lap, and it's less than a second already now. So now they've cleared that gaggle of cars, or still one more to go, but this looks like the pass will be on into the first corner, and also letting Basque Country through. So can Hull now show the pace they did at the start of the race, stretch this lead back out, or are we on for a close battle for the remaining 4 minutes or so in this race? Basque Country closing up even closer, 0.4 of a second now. It's like Bolton are struggling with tyres again, so they're down to 5th place now, both Sheffield and Salford having just made it through. We'll stay with this lead battle, so on board with Hector Lizar from University of the Basque Country. Of course, those of you, if you remember watching the race from Barcelona, we had high drama at the end of the race where both Southampton and then Basque Country both ran out of fuel on the final laps. Hopefully we're not going to have a repeat of that this evening. If anything, you'd expect both those teams to be carrying a few laps additional fuel just to be sure. I think now we've made it running in clean air, Hull do appear to be able to start stretching the lead back out, but we've got another 2 or 3 cars that we can see ahead, so unless Hull can make it cleanly through the traffic, there may be an opportunity brewing. And towards the end of this lap it looks like Basque Country is slightly quicker, so that gap closes up. Looks like these two back markers are having a battle of their own as well, so hopefully they realise this is the leaders coming through. They are politely getting out of the way. I'm not sure if that was by design or just from mistakes made, but that has allowed us to have a uninterrupted battle for first and second. We got 1 minute 40 left on the clock at the start of this lap, so looks like we're going to have 2 laps of racing left before the time runs down. Oh, oversteer moment for Basque Country there, I think, with a gap extending out to 1.5 seconds. That may be a pivotal moment for that battle for position for race 2. Looks like it's close between Sheffield and Salford. Sheffield having made it back up to 3rd position again in race 2. But Salford close behind in 4th. This is a closer battle than 1st and 2nd, so we'll keep an eye on the times up front, but let's follow this battle for now. Salford with a good run out the final corner. Sheffield defending on the inside. Yeah, at the front, Hull have stretched the lead out a little further to 1.8 seconds. All that's coming back down. And oh no, mistake there from Salford. So I think that's let Sheffield off the hook. Leader is on the final lap. So that is the win for Hull. Basque Country coming through in 2nd. Dundee in 14th. Sheffield in 3rd. Portsmouth IC in 16th. Portsmouth EV in 6th. Lassonde in 17th. Ilmenau in 8th. Run to the line. Stavanger just finishing ahead of Southampton in 10th. Sheffield Hallam coming towards the end of the lap to cross the line in 11th. Trinity St David in 12th. And NUST finishing in 13th. So congratulations to our podium finishers. Hull with the win in first place, University of the Basque Country in second, and Sheffield with another drive through the field from 19th to double podium, third and third. Thanks to everyone for racing this evening. It was a little cleaner again in both races. We now get ready to prepare for the penultimate round of the 2022 Sim Race Series. We move from Germany to Brazil at Interlagos in Formula 4 cars. We'll see you around a month's time for round 7. Thanks everyone for watching. Speak to you all soon. Good night.